What's up, freaks? This is just me, and today we're gonna be exploring the best physique of Arnold Schwarzenegger's entire bodybuilding career. So, the Austrian Oak, Arnold Schwarzenegger, started his professional bodybuilding career in 1968. That's a long time ago, guys. And he competed till 1980, when he made a comeback after 5 years of retirement since 1975, when he first stopped competing. And in this video, we're looking at the years 1971 to 75, which at this point is basically general consensus wise Arnold's prime. He really made his name out of these 5 years mainly. Before 71, he was not mature and developed enough, and we can all agree that in his 1980 appearance, it wasn't the same old Arnold either. So first, let's get one very important thing off the table, and that's my honorable mention for today. It's the 1973 Olympia version of the Oak. This was one of the most shredded and conditioned packages he ever brought to a bodybuilding show. He looked awesome on that stage. My reasoning for not including this version in the main three-way comparison is I found that they were three versions, even just slightly superior in my opinion. But this 73 Oak definitely deserves a big shout out. Look at him in the front double biceps with those massive peaks and great aesthetic outline. Also in the rear double, he looks super peeled and pretty impressive. The back and the arms. And in the crab pose, he looks menacing with those veins and striations and separation, right? But that's gonna do it for the honorable mentions today. Let's go to the main event. On the left stands the 1971 winning version of Arnold Schwarzenegger from the Olympia. This year he looked super sharp and fresh, and his legs were really good. But that being said, his wheels also looked supreme in 1974, which we have in the middle. That was Arnold's biggest package. He had no lack of conditioning to go along with that, so also a great back. But as you're gonna see later in this video, I don't want to spoil anything because we're not really gonna get to see Arnold's back development at all. But either way, this version looks great in the front and side poses as well. And on the right, we can't forget this version either, is the 75 Olympia Oak. He had smaller quads that year, but he basically made up for it by having other standout body parts, like a great set of biceps and more than a solid package overall. We can see that in this front double biceps pose here, in my opinion, where 1971 on the left is gonna have to settle for last. Even though it looks fantastic, especially through the quads and lats. The guns don't look as impressive as in the other versions. Take for instance 1975, the bicep peaks look absolutely wow factor bringing, great. And his midsection looks very tight, and so does the waist. No, the legs are not as good as the legs of 71, but this pose overall looks better, so I'm giving third to 71 and second place goes to 1975 on the right. The winner is 1974 in the middle, with some other legs added in, but it's from the same show, I believe, and it fits well into the picture, so yes, these are his wheels from the same show. I just couldn't find a picture with his wheels included that look great in the upper body. So, he's got great balance between the lower and upper body, better quads than 75, and better arms and outline than 71. So 74 fetches its first pose. And move on to the front lat spread, which we obviously do have, which is awesome. Although 74 in the middle is a photo shoot picture. But this was the best that I could get. This is the 70s. It's not like a casual bodybuilding fan in the audience could exactly pull out a professional camera or phone, right? The pics are scarce, which is why we are gonna have to miss some poses, but I deviate. Back to the last spread. I have 1975 last. The lower body is just inferior, and the way he's hitting the pose is not bad, but his pecs don't look that good. Just not that great of a pose. Then 74 in second, with that photo shoot pic taken into consideration. The pecs look really odd due to the different way of hitting the pose. He's not leaning back as much. But look at the windsurfing lats, that's unreal. But still, the 1 pointer goes to 71 because the pose is much more pleasing and looks much better with great legs, lats, and pecs. This front lat spread doesn't look bad at all if you ask me, of 71. And alright, let's go to the side chest, which is a great pose. Here, the lower body is hard to judge. Either way, I would put 1975 last. It's still top notch for sure, but the far pec looks way less thick. Partially is the display, but still, in my opinion. And otherwise, the physique definitely looks similar to the other versions, so it's got nothing to push it over them. Between 71 and 74 for the win, it's super close. They look nearly identical with the insanely thick and strided far pectoral. They have different displays of the near pec, but both are good. Slight edge to 71 for the more massive arm and better looking shoulder in my opinion, but it could go either way. And very unfortunately, I have to announce we're not gonna have any pec poses in this video. There's no back double that I could find for 71 and no lat spread for 74 or 5. And of course, no side triceps too, because Arnold usually avoided this pose. Why he did that, your guess is as good as mine. He actually looked great at the one occasion he hit the pose, but anyway, not a usable ab and thigh pick for all of these versions either. So we gotta do with the most muscular right away, and even in this pose we can't really judge that well because the 71 Oak's hitting a variation of the side chest, not a most muscular pose. But this was the best comparison I could find, and I figure let's at least have 4 poses out of 8, right? If we only had less, it would be not the greatest video, right? So let's go from what we already know from the previous poses, and I feel like most probably it would be 75 falling last again. It's less massive than 74, and it's probably less striated than 71. Although that's hard to say from these poses. But I choose to give second place over 75 to 71. And 74 wins simply because it's money in the most muscular. It was the most huge Arnold, surely bigger than 71, and super ripped at the same time. He's got striations everywhere in 74, so let's give it the 1 pointer, even though this wasn't exactly 100% fair judging here. And believe it or not, this is the end of the comparison, so let's tally it up. In third finishes 1975 because it got no poses and overall 11 points. Keep in mind that's coming from only 4 poses. So, I mean, it didn't get completely steamrolled in this comparison, but it certainly wasn't winning either. Nevertheless, a good version, but not enough to take off 71 or 4. 75 would do battle with 1973 for the third best Arnold, in my opinion. And proceeding to number 2, it's the 1971 Arnie. This version was able to get 2 poses and 8 points, so very impressive. It was awesome, very young and aesthetic with great legs, giving him very good balance. So this version did great in this contest I put up. But the winner overall is 74. It was improved over 71 as I see it. It was more mature and heavier with no lack of condition. Great quads too, as you could definitely notice in most poses. This one won 2 poses too, but only had 6 points compared to the 8 of 1971. and I consider 1974 the rightful winner. And so, yes, I believe this is the best Austrian Oak we ever got to see, and I think the most bodybuilding fans would agree with me on this. But guys, be sure to let us know down in the comment section below if you agree with my pick or you prefer maybe the 71 Arnold Schwarzenegger. And also feel free to criticize or praise me for how good of a job I did on this matchup, because I tried to make it as fair as I could, but it's difficult when this guy's from the 70s. There's not 100 different photos of him. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to watch some Arnold Schwarzenegger videos and also like and subscribe. Enjoy the rest of your day.